Hare Krishna, Sanjay here, and so far in chapter 13 we have seen the field, we have seen the knower, we have seen what true knowledge looks like. Now Krishna goes even deeper. He shows us the engine behind all of existence, the ancient dance between spirit and nature that drives every single experience of our lives. Chapter 13, Part 3, The Dance of Spirit and Nature, Scenes 13:20 to 13:27. Let's step in together. Introduction: The Eternal Dance of the Seen and the Seer. Scene: the battlefield of Kurukshetra stretches endlessly, dust, soldiers, weapons, life, and death swirling together in motion. Arjuna looks out and sees chaos. Krishna looks within and sees harmony, the rhythm beneath all movement. Now Krishna begins to unveil the cosmic relationship between Purusha, the eternal conscious principle, and Prakriti, the field of nature, change, and material reality. Everything that moves, acts, feels, or evolves belongs to Prakriti. Everything that watches, witnesses, and remains unchanged is Purusha. They are two, yet one, interwoven like fire and its light. Without the observer, the world has no meaning. Without the world, awareness cannot express itself. Together they create the Leela, the divine play of existence. Krishna teaches Arjuna that bondage arises when consciousness identifies with nature, when the witness forgets it's the witness and becomes the actor. Liberation dawns when one remembers, I am awareness, not the storm I see. This wisdom, Krishna says, is ancient and subtle, the secret that liberates the soul from endless cycles of birth and death. Now, in today's terms, this is the art of living consciously. We often get trapped in roles: parent, worker, achiever, victim, mistaking them for our identity. But behind all these shifting roles stands the same unchanging awareness. Every experience, success or failure, joy or pain belongs to the field of Prakriti. But the one who knows it, who silently watches thoughts rise and fall, is Purusha, the divine witness within. When you see this truth, life becomes dance, not drudgery. You still play your part, but without attachment. You engage fully, but rest inwardly free. This is Karma Yoga, refined through knowledge, the harmony of action and awareness. Focus: nature moves, awareness watches. To live in both is mastery, to act like Prakriti, but to rest like Purusha. Scene 13:20, the two without beginning. Scene: know that both Prakriti, nature, and Purusha, spirit, are without beginning. Know also that all modifications and qualities arise from Prakriti. Then Krishna begins with a revelation that humbles the intellect. Both the conscious self, Purusha, and nature, Prakriti, are eternal. There is no first cause, no beginning. The play of consciousness and matter is timeless. All diversity, from the elements to emotions, from galaxies to human thought, springs from Prakriti. She is the divine mother, the matrix of creation. But the witness, Purusha, gives her the light of awareness. Without that light, nature is inert. Without nature, awareness has no mirror to reflect itself. Arjuna listens, realizing that existence is not random but rhythmic, the unmanifest expressing itself through endless forms. Now, in modern understanding, this verse reflects the balance between energy and awareness. Nature provides form, consciousness provides meaning, matter evolves, awareness observes. Life is the meeting point of these two, dynamic yet eternal. When we forget this dual truth, we get lost in restlessness, trying to control life's movements instead of witnessing its flow. Focus: nature and spirit are both eternal. Peace arises when you recognize yourself as awareness amidst motion. Scene 13:21, nature creates, spirit experiences. Scene: from Prakriti arise all actions, cause and effect. The Purusha experiences pleasure and pain through its association with Prakriti. Then Krishna now describes the dynamic of bondage. The field of nature, body, senses and mind creates all activity. The self, though inactive, experiences these movements as its own when it identifies with them. It is like the sky believing it rains, or the mirror believing it is the reflection. When consciousness forgets its separateness, it feels joy and sorrow as real. For Arjuna, this hits home. His pain arises from identification. He believes he is the doer, the killer, the mourner. Krishna reminds him, the body acts, the senses perceive, but the self only witnesses. Now, this verse explains the psychology of suffering even today. We suffer not because of events, but because of identification, I am this role, I am this failure, I am this success. When you step back into awareness, the world continues but bondage ends. You still act but without confusion. Focus. You suffer not because of what happens, but because you forget who you are. You are the witness, not the waves. Scene 13.22. Attachment breeds rebirth. Scene. When the self identifies with the qualities of nature, it becomes attached to them. This attachment leads to birth in good and evil wombs. Then, Krishna now traces the root of reincarnation attachment. When the conscious self clings to experiences, desires, or identities, it binds itself to the cycle of action and reaction. The soul, though pure, gathers impressions like dust on a mirror. It carries these tendencies forward into new births, shaping circumstances that reflect its inner attachments. For Arjuna, this reframes karma not as punishment but continuity. Life simply mirrors what the soul still holds on to. The battlefield is not external, it's within. Now, this is strikingly relevant in modern life. We may not speak of rebirth literally, but we relive patterns repeating the same emotional loops, the same conflicts, because attachment binds us to them. Every time we cling to pleasure, status, or even pain, we sow seeds of repetition. Freedom begins with non-attachment, with the courage to let each moment complete itself. Focus. Attachment recycles pain, awareness releases it, let go, and every ending becomes liberation. Scene 13.23. The witness within all. Scene. The Supreme Self in this body is also called the witness, the permitter, the sustainer, the enjoyer, and the Supreme Lord. Then, Krishna now elevates the teaching to its divine dimension. The same Purusha that observes each individual is also the cosmic witness, the Lord residing in every heart. He permits action but remains untouched by it. He sustains the field yet is beyond the field. He enjoys the play yet is free from craving. The divine is both the author and the observer of existence, immanent and transcendent at once. For Arjuna, this restores perspective. He is not a small self trapped in destiny. He is a reflection of the Supreme Self, acting through form but rooted in infinity. Now, this verse brings immense comfort. In the modern world, people feel powerless amid chaos, forgetting that the same intelligence that moves galaxies breathes through them. The divine is not outside, judging. It is inside, witnessing with infinite patience. When you remember this, fear dissolves. You stop asking, why me? And start realizing, through me. Focus. The divine is the witness in you, silent, steady, compassionate. When you remember this, life regains its sacred rhythm. Scene 13.24. Seeing the dance clearly. Scene. Those who understand the distinction between Prakriti and Purusha and the way beings are bound by nature reach the Supreme. Then, Krishna concludes the philosophical arc. Liberation comes not by escaping life but by understanding it. When you see clearly that the body and mind belong to nature and the self belongs to awareness, confusion ends. You no longer say, I am suffering, but suffering is happening. You no longer say, I am the doer, but action unfolds through nature. This clarity doesn't make you indifferent, it makes you peaceful amidst all activity. For Arjuna, this means fighting the war without hatred, acting without bondage, performing duty as an offering. Now, this verse captures the heart of self-realization in simple words. Awareness of distinction leads to unity. When you stop confusing the observer with the observed, you live in the world freely. In modern spirituality, this is mindfulness in its highest form, seeing the dance without getting lost in it. Focus. Freedom is not withdrawal, but right seeing. Watch the dance of nature while resting as the dancer's soul. Closing summary. When the witness wakes up, scene, the dialogue pauses. A breeze moves through the battlefield. Arjuna sits with eyes half closed, as if something vast has shifted inside him. Then, through these verses 13.20, 13.24, Krishna has revealed the cosmic architecture of bondage and liberation. The world of matter, Prakriti, and the light of consciousness, Purusha, are both eternal. Their union creates all experience, all movement, all evolution. But bondage arises when awareness forgets itself and identifies with nature when the observer thinks, I am the body, the doer, the sufferer. Liberation dawns when one remembers, I am awareness untouched, eternal, infinite. This realization is not escape from life but clarity within it. You still act but without anxiety, you still love but without clinging, you still experience but without losing yourself. Now, in today's world, this is the most practical wisdom. We live entangled in roles and responsibilities, mistaking motion for meaning. Krishna's teaching invites us to pause and see. You are not the drama, but the awareness in which it unfolds. When you know this, even chaos becomes dance, even endings become grace. True peace is not found by controlling Prakriti, but by realizing Purusha, the witness that has always been free. Focus. Nature moves, awareness observes. The secret of freedom is to live in the dance without forgetting the dancer. This scene ends here, but the dance goes on. Nature keeps moving, spirit keeps watching, and somewhere in understanding that, something begins to shift. We explore that shift in our next scene. Until then, Hare Krishna.